Welcome to Supercar Fest. How's things, dude?
Hello.
All good?
Yeah, all good.
For anyone tuning in who has no clue who we are, my name's James. You might know me online as Mr JWW, and we have an obnoxiously loud Renault Clio revving his pea shooter exhaust in the background. So thanks for that.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. And on that rowdy note, I'm Tom. I have no voice. I make car videos on YouTube. This was the worst time.
Great timing. I suppose if you're tuning into a car show, you can't be put off by the sound of exhaust, can you?
Absolutely.
So, cool. Let's cut to it. I want your Carrera GT.
Okay, fine. We'll broker a deal. Right. Speak to the guys.
We're in
the right place.
The right venue
they're listening.
for a deal.
I also want an F12 TDF.
Dude, we can make something happen here, I'm sure. I know a guy that just so happens to have one parked next to yours.
Yes. Would you get rid of it though?
Everything has a price, man. Everything has a price. Yeah, that's it. It's funny when I sort of speculate with people that the mere idea of selling it, they're like, you have to be mental. Like, what are you even thinking about? When you've lived with something for 3 years, I'm not saying it gets old, but you fancy a change, you know? You fancy
100%.
mixing things up a bit.
100%. Doesn't matter how special a car is, a lot of the time that edge does come off it, but I think you should keep it. Having driven it yesterday, in mild anger.
I think you should keep yours.
Yeah, I'd love to tease you out.
It's so good, man. So how often do you actually use it?
I get told off by my audience non-stop. They're like, you don't drive your Carrera GT. It's stored in London at the moment. It hasn't made the move to the countryside. So I've driven that probably 15 times in 14 months.
That's not bad going.
What?
For a Carrera GT, it's not
in
like
London,
like a daily drive. Exactly, in London's even more hardcore.
Roof
I think
off,
that's all right, mate.
It's a
that's
real
pretty good
process
going,
getting it out.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I drive it quite a bit, but I won't lie. I take it places on a trailer. To keep the mileage low, and then I'll go and do the event, and then it'll go back on a trailer again, and then send it back home. So even though it looks like it gets used a lot, going to and from, I'm in the back of a Range Rover.
It's all about visibility.
Exactly that.
And using there's like a real stripe of conditions, thin conditions where it's perfect for the use of the car.
That's it.
You know, traffic, rain, whatever, it's rubbish.
I get it.
And that does really ebb away at the specialness of the car when you have to use it in suboptimal conditions.
That's it.
So,
oddly, today's probably the most applicable day for it, and it's stationary, not being used. So
I want to go out on the runway, get the roof off it.
I know. That's cool. So, would you ever trip it? Would you ever road trip it, or would you just want to keep it special occasions?
Yeah, I mean, maybe UK based. I would truck it to point at the start line, and I'll truck it away from finish line. You got to keep the miles.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's done loads of miles, to be fair. But you got to be sensible about it. You know, and the chances of it being shunted en route and things like that, and stone chips and whatever, like through headlights. You know, it's
don't even get me started on how depressing a day out that'd be. Right, when I was researching them about 3 years back, I spoke to an owner of one, and he said, just as an example, if you were to have to replace the windscreen on that car.
This is a story. We were on a Jaguar trip in Corsica, and I remember you sat over the table, and I heard you mentioning that a windscreen on a Carrera GT was 30 grand, and that put me off for a solid 2 weeks.
Well, it turns out they're about 8 grand, but they're not in stock. So if you have a full crack, it has to go to Porsche Reading or somewhere, and then they're like, right, we're going to keep this for 8 to 9 weeks, and it's going to be 8,000 quid for a windscreen.
That's an insurance claim,
I was
surely.
like, oh, absolutely. So aside from the super sexy stuff, what's next?
Car-wise for me, old Ferrari.
Old Ferrari? Like old?
Old as me, so yeah, pretty old.
Okay, right, wow. It's not work.
Yeah,
that is cool.
I've actually got it already, but it's not it's not on the internet yet. It might be online now, who knows at this point.
Is that because you're starting to find new cars are getting a little bit sanitized, or you just always fancied one?
I look at an F8 Tributo for £250,000 and I just think...
Boring.
It just doesn't do anything to me. I have no opinion, I just don't care. And I don't know whether that's me becoming cynical and boring, or they're becoming just a bit like sanitized.
I know it's such a cliche statement, but they're just getting too good, and the delivery of entertainment is a bit sanitized now. You look down at the speedo and you're like, how did I arrive here?
I'm in a 30 and it's 160,
and
obviously,
like,
hypothetically.
And you think, how did I arrive here? My journey here lacked all sorts of theatre and drama. I'd sooner be going slow in something that sounds gnarly.
I want to feel like I need a fire extinguisher with me.
There you go. These two things here.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, what about you? What's next? What are you getting?
What is next? Amazingly fortunate to get a slot on a 992 GT3.
Very jealous of that.
Which I will be phoning Charles and Dean up to fund. because that'll be here sooner than I thought, and I need to get that sorted. Yeah, I think it'll be here next month.
Wow.
It'll be pretty cool.
Any teasers on the spec, or is that
It's a PTS slot, and that's as much as I'm giving away.
PTS that early?
PTS slot, yeah.
Oh, I'm done with this, I'm off.
He's
enough
out.
of you.
Yeah, so that'll be coming in end of June, I think.
Wow,
which will
I'm
be
not
a bit
jealous
fun.
at all.
Yeah, so if these guys sort it out for me, I'll hopefully get that into the end of June and then straight to a track day. The dream would be straight to the Nürburgring. Well, the actual dream would be factory handover, leave Stuttgart straight to the ring, but right now with travel, they still can't.
Any Porsche road trips, let me know. I know a man with a few Porsches.
Sure. Okay, great. That sounds good. Yeah, I'll do it. And then I'd love one day to get into a classic, like modern classic, like your 996 would be so good.
They're fun money as well. It's not stressful using them. You know, the bills can only get to a certain level really on them.
Yeah.
They're never like life-threatening. They can get pretty unpleasant, but they're never life-threatening. Like the bills in a Corvette GT are life-threatening for me.
Yeah, they're pretty
completely out of warranty, you know. So
honestly,
it's scary.
Mitch, driving that thing yesterday, it's hard to share it on camera, but just the feeling when you interact with it, it's like the Swiss watch equivalent of a car.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal.
You feel everything going on.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous thing. So if you get bored of it, feel free to hand me the keys. If you want to take a safer drive at a TDF, fire away.
I'll bear that in mind.
So, thanks for tuning in. Any more chit chat, let us know in the comments below. I don't even know if this is going on a platform with comments, but if it is, let us know what you want us to see going on, and we'll go and dream up some.
Or even shout at the screen.
Nonsense and be like, hey, cheers.
Sante.